Thank you very much. I will be brief, so please pay attention, listen carefully. Your ears, upon hearing these words, have just triggered a chain reaction that cannot be stopped. Your mind has just been conscripted into the act of translation, making you an accomplice to a revolution in the making. As your natural curiosity grows, as you lean forward to better understand by listening more carefully, as each word enters into your consciousness, you will be lured further and deeper within their will and find it increasingly difficult to stop. If you have not by now already left the room or lost your focus, chances are that it's already too late to save yourself. It's quite normal that you might start feeling uncomfortable, that you feel the self-conscious gaze and the presence of those around you, observing, listening, wondering what you might be experiencing, perhaps comparing experience. Shift as you may, the words are working and the virus is taking root. You may suddenly feel a slight sensation of nausea, or at its most extreme, the need to relieve yourself. Some audiences have spoken about the rush of libidinal blood in an ecstatic embrace of forces unimaginable, of sensations beyond the limits of the cognitive five senses. In rare instances, I have seen people begin to rip off their clothing and launch into spontaneous and uncontrolled movement with wild abandon. The turning always begins in the stomach, a slow spiral of electricity within the gut. The unfolding energy will demand release and rise up along the spinal column in search of the pineal gland. Your heartbeat will accelerate as you begin to understand what is happening and try to transcend the consequences. You're feeling it. In defense of your better judgment, your mind will attempt to block what's going on as a trick and try to shift your focus back into what you might call reality. Your mind finds itself being thrown into denial through the details, unable to rationalize what has already happened, and shall be the very last part of what you actually perceive what is taking place right now. Language is a virus, and art is its shadow. Your physical self is little more than the transmitter-receiver, communicating with your deeper selves, processing the virus into understanding. You feel watched only because you cannot see yourself, and you experience the vertigo of comprehension, simply because you are more than the sum total of your perceptions. Bound into the prison of 3 dimensions and 5 senses, the flesh measures the temperature of the experience in order that you may liberate your true self. When respectfully embodied, the work of art opens up both the transmitter and receiver selves, like flowers of life in blossom, throwing light into the darkness of habit. The form or medium matters little, for true art is composed of spirit, materialized one way or another. Art is a life force and vital transformer, shifting perception and manifesting consciousness through the clouds of illusion. More powerful than symbols, more profound than truth or lies, more sacred than any gods we might care to conjure, art is the word of creation. Our Father, who art. You're observing yourself thinking, wandering off in your thoughts, accepting and trying to reject that which but a minute ago seemed infinitely worlds away, now pressing up against your pre-perceptions. As my intentions manifest their will, and thy kingdoms come, you will either find yourself feeling tricked, giving rise to feelings of anger, or else your entire being will open itself to intense waves of ecstasy and euphoria. Don't panic, because all true artists are tricksters. And our work skips across the fine lines of morality and slices through the fat of ethics. Little time bombs of trickster twists will continue exploding, both in your consciousness and deep within your unconsciousness, for some time to come. Fear not, for unless you are an enemy of your own nature, nothing bad shall come of it. If you have been You have been enlisted and called upon in the name of art. So open your mind in order to transform your world. If you find yourself with more questions than answers, or lost in the dark night of doubt or cynicism, don't think too much about them, because they are just symptoms of having been touched. Infection is the cure, as every reaction is noted through, though nothing can be expected. In the complexity of our being, only nothing can be simplified, and the inconsolable electricity and ineffable energy always finds their way. If you are superstitious, you will call it magic, but it's really just art. Art survives for as long as it remains beyond the grasp of our rational brains, uncuffed by the chains of the mind police. Understanding gets tied up in twists and turns, according to the circumstance of each new reading, as the trickster spins her web in reverse, inebriated by the spirits of life. Words spoken become swords, by which he becomes she, with a mouthful of sharp diamonds. In the battle of good versus evil, light versus dark, creation versus destruction, it is only art that resurrects the dead, baking bread and making wine from our fears and our desires. You have been initiated into the mysteries and have become the crime, the criminal, the judge, jury, the accused, the witness to and evidence of your own transformation. You have been exposed to art and shall never be the same again. Your perception has created a work of art deep within the bounds of your being, and now it's up to you to nurture what you might make of it. Your entire being, every layer of consciousness, flesh, mind, spirit, soul, and breath, have been summoned with respect to appear in the courting room of your reality machine. Your trust has not been taken for granted, and in exchange, I surrendered my own, for now we are both bound together in the same understanding. Your eyes have opened a path to your soul, your ears caressed my lips, and with your every sense on edge, you have awoken another reading of yourselves. Let time be your password and vision your key. It's time to go. The now is here, and the revolution has made a full turn, and it's too late to return. You are already back where you began, the same but different, and the world is already a better place for it. Look for the love hidden within the revolution. Let go to take control and occupy yourself. Thank you.